Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back. We're going to be reading chapter 28 in Power of the Magdalene, written by Stuart Wilson and Joanna Prentis. And this also is the start of part 8, which is titled A New Dawn. So we open up with a bit of a poem or a saying written by Stuart Wilson. The new world comes to us in many ways. It lives in the soaring of the eagle's soul, and in moments touched by the grace of the Spirit. Look for it in the laughter of the children, and see it shining in the eyes of those who live their lives as a rainbow of possibility. All right, so now chapter 27 is a rather short chapter. It's about 2.5 pages, and I am going to keep these chapters separate just for some shorter videos, so I hope that's okay. So I'll probably just be doing some back-to-back shorter videos here. So chapter 27 is titled Towards a New World, and I'm going to apologize in advance. I'm filming on a Saturday afternoon when my whole family is home, so I don't know what the noise level is going to look like. Okay. We had received a vast amount of information from Ilarial, and this had opened up many areas of understanding, some of these being entirely new to us. Yet even when we reached this point, there remained some key questions which we still wanted to explore. Isn't that the way? The more questions you have answered, the more questions you come up with. It's a never-ending cycle, the journey of the soul, right? One of these questions concerned the Grail, and that is with a capital G, so the Holy Grail, which is usually referred to as the cup used by Jeshua at the Last Supper. However, the Grail has become the focus of many myths and legends over the centuries, and the bestseller, The Holy Blood and the Holy Grail, has lifted the debate onto another level. After all this controversy, we wanted to consult Ilarial in order to get his perception of the Grail and its significance. Joanna, some people associate the Grail with Mary Magdalene. Could you comment on this, please? Ilarial, the symbolism of the Grail is vast, but we would be happy to share our perspective with you. On one level, the Grail can be seen as the mystery school working through the temple of Isis in Alexandria, which provided a structure, a container, a cup, if you wish to call it that, into which the initiates of love and light could pour their loving service, and that is capital L for love and light. This mystery school was in many ways one of the highest, purest, and most effective practical expressions of Melchizedek wisdom upon this planet. And its benevolent influence still endures. On another level, the Grail can be seen as the bloodline reaching from Mary Magdalene down to the present day, a lineage which has provided physical vehicles for a number of workers in the light, especially those souls who had experienced lives as priestesses of Isis. Through Mary, the energy and wisdom of the Isis tradition of love and light did not disappear when the temple of Isis faded into history, but continued in life and work of all those who have been inspired by it over the centuries. For this reason, we regard Mary Magdalene as the overlighting presence sustaining the Grail, and in a symbolic sense, her higher self can be seen as the angel of the Grail. On a still deeper level, the Grail can be interpreted as the vortex of cosmic peace and unconditional love, which the work of Jeshua and Mary Magdalene established upon the earth. This new blend of energies gave all subsequent aspirants the opportunity to balance peace and love within the heart and go forward into realization and ascension in a much more direct way than was practiced in the ancient mystery schools. Now we have a comment by Stuart. Ilarial's statement here gave us one more opportunity to explore the Melchizedek teachings, an area already researched in some depth through writing our first book, The Essenes Children of the Light. And let me know if you'd like me to read that, since it is mentioned so much in this book. And then the session continues here. Okay, Joanna, You speak of the mystery school at Alexandria as one of the highest expressions of Melchizedek wisdom upon the earth. What aspect of the Melchizedek wisdom do you find most profound? And Delariel says, their teaching on balance. The Melchizedeks realized that balance was central to the nature of the universe, due to their clear perception of Father, Mother, God. They also saw that the principle of balance is reflected down through all levels of being. Those who thoroughly understand the principle of balance would never, for example, undervalue the goddess aspect of the divine or the power and importance of feminine wisdom. The Melchizedeks saw balance as being vital, not only to a whole civilization, but to all levels within a single being. For life to be lived to the full, it needs to be lived in a balanced way, so that each aspect of the individual is respected and given the time and attention required for full expression. They saw health and wholeness flowing naturally from a state of being, in which all aspects of a person are in balance. And they said that any structure or society based upon imbalance was essentially dysfunctional and unsustainable. And I do believe that much of our society is living highly unbalanced because they don't know. We don't know. The Melchizedeks also regarded balance as linked with and leading to harmony, which they recognized as the law of laws, and the state towards which the whole universe constantly moved. Harmony, they said, is the key to understanding all the other laws. Hence, they saw karma, for example, as essentially a moving back into balance and harmony, an attempt by the universe to restore a state of balance. Those who, like Jeshua, spent time with Melchizedek teachers absorbing their wisdom, always emphasized the need for balance as a central component in life. That is why he set up his system of discipleship in a balanced way, each circle of male disciples being balanced by a female counterpart. Thus, the fundamental nature of the universe was reflected in structure of his teaching system. Joanna, if balance is so vital, is imbalance always dangerous? Ilariel says, it almost always leads to some kind of dysfunction in an individual or in a society as a whole. For example, a culture based on any extreme form of patriarchy might come close to destroying its planetary environment. Those who do not respect their planetary mother are very likely to pollute and injure her, because nothing in their belief system will hold them back. Any extreme patriarchal culture will also tend to produce conflict and suffering, because the cooperative, loving, and forgiving qualities are all functions of the divine feminine, which will be deliberately marginalized in this type of culture. Let us be clear about this. An extreme matriarchal culture also has its problems and will lead to other forms of dysfunctionality, including a lack of structure and intellectual rigor. But at least those who believe in matriarchy will be in no danger of destroying their own planet. So what we are advocating is a balanced belief system. In other words, a belief in Father, Mother, God. Joanna, the whole idea of patriarchy does seem to be widely questioned now and is no longer accepted as the natural order of things. Ilariel, in the West, you are experiencing a time of reevaluating and rebalancing. What started as a rebalancing within relationships is now culminating in a rebalancing of your whole belief system. The increasing interest in the sacred feminine, the feminine disciples of Jeshua, and the role played by Mary Magdalene are all part of this rebalancing process. Rebalancing your belief system is an essential precondition for moving out of your past limitations and into the very different energy conditions of the new world, a world in which all aspects of the divine will be valued. The whole process of transformation and rising in consciousness, supported by the new children, will lay the foundations for this new world. New horizons will open up, including the possibility of living in a post-conflict, post-competitive world in which collaboration and forgiveness replaces the destructive patterns of your past. This is the new dawn that human beings have longed for, the new beginning that all your efforts have brought forth. This is the new world in which you are no longer the dependent children of creation, but spiritually adult beings standing in the light of your own consciousness. And that is beings with a capital B, and of course, light with a capital L. Okay, so that completes chapter 27. As I said, these next few chapters are pretty short, and I thought about putting them together, but I would like to put some shorter videos in there for you and for me, because it is a lot to just keep reading, which I totally love, but sometimes putting a bunch of information together is just too much to take in at once. So we're going to stop right there. And in the next video, we will read chapter 28, which is titled The New Consciousness. And it's about as long as chapter 27. So until I see you again, take care of yourselves and take care of those around you. I love you all very much, and I'll see you soon for chapter 28. Bye-bye.